Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Let's Vibe. So, I wanted to talk about one of my philosophies, so to speak. If you've visited my channel's homepage, you'll notice the backdrop image has some text over it, and it says, Live by your feelings. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Some may wonder, what that really means. And I can imagine some people would be a little bit suspicious of such a phrase. So, why do I have that there? Well, a long time ago, maybe 12, no, 14 years ago, I was at one of the lowest points of my life. And at the time, I was attending a church and seeing a pastor regularly, and he was serving as like a mentor for me because I was struggling with a very deep depression and also anxiety. I'd always struggled with anxiety growing up and into my teens and 20s. And so I was really, this was a time of my life when I was really in need of help, support, guidance. I at this time of my life, I did not have a very strong connection with myself. I didn't really know myself very much or very well. I was cut off from a lot of parts of myself. And so I was looking to other people for answers and for help and advice. And since I grew up in the church and was raised in a conservative Christian kind of environment, I naturally went back to well, I never left, but I went to the church and sought out a pastor because who better to know what to do during these dark times than a pastor, a spiritual leader. And I remember this one particular evening I was meeting with this pastor, and he was fairly young, in his 20s. So I consider that a bit of a red flag. Someone in their 20s is still very young. Anyway, I was meeting with him and I was kind of pouring my heart out, just saying, trying to describe to him how painful life was at that moment, how painful the depression and the anxiety was. And so I was talking about how I was feeling, and I remember just I was saying a lot of sentences like I feel or I'm feeling, and just trying to share with this man my current state, my state of mind, the state of my heart and my soul. And of course, I was using the word feel. And he straight up said to me in response, We don't live by our feelings. Now, I can tell you right off the bat, that hurt. That hurt like hell. It hurt because, number one, it's not true. Now, I know that this belief, this idea that we don't live by our feelings, or that feelings are not important, or that we don't need to listen to them, that's very common. That's very common in the church, especially in the U.S. I am not surprised at all when I come across a Christian in America who dismisses feelings. And oftentimes they also dismiss, mental health. The church is kind of, the church is still very unfamiliar with mental health and really the whole world of the mind, and it shows when you come across pastors telling you, oh, we don't live by our feelings. It's like, oh, okay, let me just throw this all off and I'm better. No, we very much do live by our feelings. Let me make a distinction here, though, before I go any further. I see a difference between feelings and emotions. And obviously, this pastor was not taking this into consideration at all. He was lumping it all into one. But there is a difference. So, feelings, when I'm talking about feelings, and when I talk about feelings in connection to crystals and stones, I'm talking about like gut feelings. I'm talking about the deep feelings that we all have, whether or not we're in tune with those feelings, we all have them. I'm talking about what resides deep down, your inner voice. Um, the feelings that are not immediately swayed by whatever's going on in your immediate present moment. Emotions, on the other hand, I see emotions as the more of a reaction. It's more surface level. It's how you feel in the moment. Well, I go using the word feel. It's a little tricky, but emotions are more of the surface level. Like someone cuts you off as you're driving down the highway, and you feel like you feel angry, and that is the emotion of anger popping up. And yes, I could agree that, yeah, we shouldn't live by our emotions, because that would be it can be, and it is very chaotic to live that way. I've been there. I think a lot of people in this world are in that position where emotions are controlling many areas of their lives. For me, it was fear and anxiety. Emotions like that would exert a lot of control over me in the past. But this pastor and pastors and churches in general in America, they don't make that distinction. They just say, we don't live by that. As in, those feelings that you're having are not important. And basically he was telling me that the feelings that I was having, and the emotions I was having at that time, he was telling me that they weren't valuable. And he was dead wrong. Dead wrong. First of all, it is never a good idea. It's never helpful to just invalidate another person, the way that they're feeling. That alone, it's very painful, it's very damaging. But also, the truth is, yes, we do live by our feelings, because it's through these deep feelings, this inner voice, that we find our inner guidance. This is where we find our connection to Source, or if you want to use the term God. It's those deep down feelings. And if you're hurting, deep down there, like I was back then, you gotta listen to that. And any spiritual advisor or guide should be wise enough and mature enough to hold space for those feelings, whatever they are, or emotions, whatever. They need to be validated. Even those, off the cuff emotions deserve some validation to some degree. But the deeper feelings, that is where we find our inner compass. Now, looking back, it took me many years after that encounter, after that negative, painful encounter with that pastor. That message really stuck in my head. It ate away at me for a long time because I didn't really know how to refute it. I didn't know that, I knew that there was something deeper, way down, but I didn't know how to speak up for myself. I didn't know how to really connect with my inner feelings at the time, and so I didn't know for sure that he was dead wrong. But now today, thankfully, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, he was wrong. Listen to your feelings. Give them space. Honor them by allowing them to come up when they come up. Listen to them. Know that your feelings are like messages, in a sense, coming from yourself, or messages even from outside of yourself. If you're particularly into spirituality and connecting with the spiritual world, then that is where it comes from. It comes from within. It's very much like, the we want to go outside. We want to go outside of ourselves to find answers and to find guidance and to find validation. But as usual, as with so many things, it comes from within. These things come from within. So your feelings are critical because your feelings give you the guidance that you need. Your feelings tell you the truth. Truth about yourself, truth about the situations you're in, truth about your life. Your feelings do not lie to you. And really, people, especially in churches, people need to be taught how to honor their feelings, how to listen, how to connect to themselves. Most people are just disconnected. Most people are living very unconsciously. They don't know how they feel. They don't know how to identify or express those feelings. And so we need more of that feeling consciousness. We need more of this. Because a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are lost. A lot of people are, especially in America, there's a lot of depression in America. There's a lot of mental health issues and emotional health issues. And, this is the feelings, as I've said in all my videos so far, the feelings is also where we are able to connect with these stones and crystals on a metaphysical level, on a subtle level. The gateway, so to speak, is through your feelings. So I just wanted to share that little bit about myself and why I have live by your feelings in big gold lettering on my homepage. And as always, I encourage you, leave a comment or question in the comment section down below. And thank you once again for vibing with me.